Alright, so now we are in the PK3 file that I just created. So I just imported all the sprites off screen into these folders. And I created a few more sprites, so I just copied, pasted, and repositioned them and made this selection animation. You don't have to create any new sprites. Only new sprites I created were the shooting sprites for aiming. I forgot to make those in the last video. And positioning them isn't that hard, so I didn't really have to make a tutorial on that. Although for the aiming, what you want to do is change the sprite name to the pistol sprite, and then you want to load up Doom with this PK3 in it, and it'll show you the position of the sprite since it's replacing the pistol, and you can move it accordingly. Already did that though, so here we are at. Now for this file right here is where the weapon data is. You can get the actor from ZDoom Wiki or from the PK3 file for ZDoom. So that's either zdoomwiki.org or com or whatever, online, something. And or you can get it from zdoom.pk3. So in the actors folder for Doom, it's right here. Second one. Now we need to change all these sprites here to the ones for the rifle. Now, quick recap. Every sprite in Doom has 5 letters, and the last 2 in the code are spaced out. The 0 at the end of these sprites indicates that the sprite has no rotations. Doom has 8 rotations, but that's another story. It's for monsters and items. But basically, I want to take these first 4 letters. So we'll do that right now. You can replace PIS with RIF for rifle. And we won't need this flash state. The flashes are normally separate from the gun sprites in the Doom engine, but we already have our own fire sprites that aren't separate. And for the select and deselect, since we made a selection animation right here, we're going to set those to 0 and wait instead of loop is the way to do it. And also, no state should have a length of 0 ticks. So we'll add an empty sprite. TNT1AO is the typical invisible sprite. Oh yeah, it's supposed to be a 1 because it's 1 tick long. And for those who don't know, a tick is 1/35 of a second. So if you set this to 35, it's going to take 1 second. But we don't need that. Now, for this ready state, that's where the selection animation is going to be. So we'll create a new state called actually ready for when the gun sprite is actually up. And we'll put RIFS. No, let's capitalize that just for fun. You don't have to capitalize it, but it's helpful. So these sprites, F, A, B, C, and D. And you can just do it like this. That's the shorthand way, although if you want to add certain things to it, you can just separate them. And it'll be the same animation, except harder to make, and you can add stuff in between. Like if you wanted to say give him something, you can put that. Whoops. But we are not going to do that. So we just do A, B, C, D. And a 1. Don't forget the unit at the end. Also, it can't be a decimal point. It won't read that. So this firing animation needs to be a lot faster, and we need to change them to RIF F. RIF F is the fire sprite that we made. Didn't want to do find and replace because that will make it I might replace all the other ones. So we have D. Do we have a D? I have a D. Alright. And this fire bullets command will allow you to create any order of shooting that you want, unlike the original fire pistol that was there before. And so, since it's a rifle, we want it to be pretty accurate, so we'll set the spreads to a short amount, and of course we only want it to fire one bullet, and I guess the damage can be somewhere around 15. That might be a little much. You know what, we'll make it 10 so the gun is not too overpowered. This puff type thing, so there's an actor called a puff that when the bullet hits a wall, it'll show some smoke, and that's its own actor. So if you create another actor for another puff, you can select a different one. Alright, what's the next one? Flags. Usually you set that to 0. I never really seen any use of that. Range is how far the bullet will travel. And muzzle, I haven't seen that before. I think that's new. The spawn height, you can make it spawn from a different location vertically. And I haven't seen that last command before. So I guess we'll stop it at the 4th one. So, and also be sure to type bright right next to the sprite that has the flash on it, which is the first one in the fire sequence, to make sure that it doesn't look strange in darker environments. Alright. And I did forget to make a ground sprite for when the weapon hasn't been picked up, but that's okay. I think you can do that pretty easily. And this weapon ammo type, we actually need 2 ammo types, and we'll create a new one right up here for one that's inside the clip and one that hasn't been reloaded into the gun yet. So we'll create rifle ammo, and this will be an inventory type. This is a very basic kind of thing. It just needs a maximum amount. My typing is a little iffy. And we'll set that to 1. So for 2 ammo types, you need ammo type 1 and 2. 2 is typically for secondary fire, although we'll use that for reloading instead of secondary fire. So the first ammo type will be rifle ammo. Oh yeah, we should set the maximum amount to something like 30, not 1. I was getting this confused with something else. And ammo use 1 and 2. So for rifle ammo, you want it to use 1 ammo round, and for number 2, the clip, since there might be a secondary fire and you don't want to use the clip's ammunition, I guess you'll set that to 0. But we can use something else for taking clip ammunition away for reloading. Alright. Now let's create the aiming state. Now here's something interesting. So the newer versions of Z-Doom and Zandronum and GZ-Doom, they have an option for reloading, have a control for reloading and aiming, which in older versions, not all of those source ports had reloading and aiming in the controls, so people would have to create those, but we don't have to, fortunately. Although I can make a tutorial on making new commands and controls, but we don't have to do that right now. So, for the zooming sprites, what are they again? RIFA. And we'll put zoomed in as another state. And we'll use, that's the aiming sprite right here. So which one is it? No, not that one. Oh shoot, yeah. This is supposed to be A. I misnamed it. Alright. So those are the aiming sprites, and RIFA is going into aiming. Alright, should have set that to 1. Oh yeah, and I forgot one thing. If you are going to use the ZDooms reload and the GZDooms reload, the default ones that they have built in, and then you would type these 2 flags. And the other one. I think you're supposed to separate them with a slash, although I let an error tell me, because I did forget. I haven't used these commands in a while. Alright, I think that's an OR symbol in C++. Alright, I'll have to check. And my screen recorder won't record Doom. Unfortunately, it's only set to this window in OBS. And I'll need to figure out how to fix that. Alright. Rifle ammo does not inherit from ammo. So if it doesn't inherit from ammo, let's change it to ammo. And there we go. I'll have to describe what happened. Basically, in the fire state, it was going to ready, which plays the selection animation again. So we'll change this to actually ready, which is this state. And also, I think the animation was a little fast, and we also don't have any sounds yet, which is a little bit of a problem. Also, this looked a little fast. It might be a little quiet. Oh no. I don't know. I'm still recording. And we'll create a new folder for sounds. Oh yeah, and we'll need to create a sound info to define this sound. We can't just load it in. So the way sound info works is you type your own name for the sound, and then you type the name of the sound after a space. Or you can type the same name. There's nothing wrong with that. So this one is the name you gave, this sound, and this is that sound right in there. Alright, now a lot of people use a play sound right here. There isn't one for the pistol yet, but we can actually play the sound in an instant sprite. So if we create an invisible sprite that doesn't take any time up, you know what, you can even make this a visible sprite. If this is 0, it will just pass by. But you can't have a state that's 0 ticks long. That will crash the game. But we'll create a play sound. Hold on. What the fuck is up with my typing? Alright. Wow, that's like 3 errors in typing today. Wow. Now this slot number, you can just set that to 1. If you want to play a lot of sounds at the same time, those other sounds, if you're placing them a little later, those will need a different slot. if you don't want it to instantly stop the sound. And I guess we'll set the volume to 1. Although if it's a float, you can have a decimal point. And we don't need any looping, so we'll stop it right there. Also, one thing I forgot to mention is that this clip right here for rifle ammo, you don't start with any of that. So we will need to do something about it. And I'm thinking we just copy the player in, and that will help us out. We need to create a new player start item, and we'll give it rifle ammo. Don't need to capitalize it. And we'll set that to 30, which is the maximum amount. Did I replace it? No, it's up here. Okay. Also, we can't just have this same line up here for the pistol as in ZDoom. We'll have to create a new weapon, so we can name it rifle, and we can make it inherit from the pistol, or we can make it replace the pistol. So if you're making a new weapon, you need an ID number of over 15,000, or you can make it replace the pistol. Oh, it's replace says, not replace. But you can use this command if you're creating weapons that take place of another one. And we also have to do that up here. Right now, I don't know what's going on. It's not starting with a pistol. Oh, actually, I know what I did wrong now. We forgot to make it start with a rifle instead of a pistol. We have to change this weapon slot to rifle. That's why it didn't work. Alright, you know what? For now, I think we can just give him both the pistol and rifle. Because that's not working well right now. And instead of making it replace, we'll just give it the 1500 and make a new weapon. Because for some reason it's just messing around right now. Alright, so I got some strange but good news. For some reason the rifle started working. I don't know what caused it. All I really did was cut and repaste the reloading state. I didn't really change anything in it except for changing RIF GAO right here to 0 for making it not, in order to make it not play the state, that sprite. But that's all I did to make it work. And another piece of good news is that I did get Zendronum to get in the recording. It takes a little while to load the thing. Now I didn't create a ground sprite for the rifle, but you can see it right here. Here's what we have thus far. We're not done yet. And I do hope I hope we were actually clear. I know I might be a little mumbly sometimes. Well, actually most of the time. But we did manage to make the reloading state. So you probably saw that. So that's been made. And it is working just fine. So might as well explain what is supposed to be going on. At least what we did. So first we changed all the pistol sprites to rifle sprites. And we set this number up here to 15,000. I think that's the Doom editor number. And we smoothened the animation here a little bit. And basically, instead of using these two ammo uses, we just use jump if inventory, take inventory, and give inventory. Those commands are very important for making more advanced weapons. So we use take inventory to waste a bullet, And we use jump inventory to check if you have the bullets or don't have them. In this case, we're checking that if you have at least one bullet, it'll actually fire the gun, and if you don't have a bullet, it'll reload the gun for you. And the reason we're not using use ammo for the rifle ammo is because if it runs out of ammo, it's going to deselect the weapon, which we do not want. We want to go to reload, and that's what take inventory is for. And in the reloading animation, we put a jump right here to check that the ammo is full. If the ammo is full, and it'll jump to the ready state if it's full. And we make it take one round from the clip instead of the whole clip, instead of a whole 30 rounds, because we want not to waste ammo to make it like other games, because real life is kind of miserable, especially in warfare, so we don't want that. We want it to be a game. And we made it give one round, and we created this cycle and this check right here so that it adds up to 30 rounds when it's done. And then it plays the rest of the animation and then goes to ready. So that's what we have so far, and now we need to create zooming in. So for zooming, let's create a new inventory piece. We'll call this zoomed. And this is actually an inventory type. This isn't an ammunition thing. And we'll only need one token for zooming in. So, alright, what will we do? I'm just checking an old mod that I worked on, just to remember what we're doing. And you know what? We don't need this zooming in state. And if you have one zoomed, then it'll zoom out. And we'll create that new state. Oh yeah, we need to make a shooting. Alright, let's do that. So in Fire, we'll create a new state. But first of all, 0. There's one zoomed. It'll go to this new state that we're just gonna make right now. Horizontal, vertical. That's a little less now, so it'll be more accurate. And we'll have to change this to the aiming. So that's RIA instead of RIF. Might as well put the jump for the whole thing. And just copy this extra stuff. We should make it jump to zoomed in. Oh yeah, and in this weapon ready we need to include these things. Also, I want to show you something special. And that is this zoom factor command. That will, I will, as it says, zoom it in for you. So it's not just actually aiming, it's also zooming in, which is pretty cool. And for zooming out, we'll have to set it back to 1 so that it feels normal. And something's up with the aiming. Alright, let's see what's going on. Oh, we added the WRF in the wrong spot. So we'll add weapon ready, WRF, reload, zoom, right into zoom and sprite. Oh, that's a little weird. Wonder what's going on over here. Ah, I think we forgot jump inventory. Forgot the lovely jump if inventory command. if zoomed is 1, we'll make it jump to zoom out. Oh yeah, and for reloading, we wanted to unzoom the weapon. So we'll take inventory of zoomed for the reload animation, because it'll just flash this unnamed sprite for an instant and that'll look glitchy. So you don't want that. Oh yeah, and we also want to put the zoom factor in the deselection loop. That way if you deselect the weapon, it'll zoom out, rather than keeping it in one strange position, which you don't want. It is working, but for some reason you have to click really fast. If you click too fast, it's gonna be weird, so it works, but let's fix that up a little bit. Alright, and how are we going to do that? We're just going to add a few extra frames. We'll make it wait around 2 frames. And alright, that feels pretty good. And what's going on with the... Oh! Alright. For the reload, we forgot to add an extra frame, so we have to set this one right here to 8, so that it jumps over this frame too and goes to these things, these empties right over there. Oh, that's a little weird. Forgot some more code. It's reloading even though the ammo is at 0. Let's see if we can fix that. Alright, jump if inventory rifle ammo. We'll do it again. Alright, if rifle ammo. Alright, sorry, no. Clip. If clip is over 1, it'll skip this next line right here. Which will make sure it deselects when out of ammo. And we forgot to make the go-to reload thing. Clip is over 1, it should actually ready and end the reload. We also need to add one of these right after this one. Which one did we add it right after? So we want to make sure it doesn't keep adding up to 30 rifle rounds into the clip once clip is at 0. So I need to put it a little after this one, right? And we'll set this jump to 10. Or for safety we can set it to 12. Or at 11. And it'll still be in this loop here. Partially working, which is not good enough. We want it to fully work. It's still going to add 30 even though we have 10 rounds. So this is dragging on quite a bit. But we gotta fix it. So, clip is over 1, gotta actually ready. Alright, what do we do? I think we'll create a new state called reload n. And let's count reload 11. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I think it's jumping too many lines. We'll add another one of these buffers, and we should be safe then. And with the reload end, we'll set this second one to the ending of reload. Oh yeah, we should make this a string too. Alright, so we did fix it, but I probably didn't have enough time to explain much. So I guess I will put the download to this file in the description so you guys can check out the code for yourself, and hopefully it helps out. Alright, goodbye.